Hey folks, this is Noman. Welcome to my channel. Up for review today, we have Iron Man Mark 1, the diecast version. This, I believe, is the third iteration of this figure by Hot Toys. I look forward to opening this figure, though there's been some controversy. Some collectors believe Hot Toys hasn't done enough to justify this third version. So looking forward to seeing how it is in the light box, and then bringing him back out for some interesting poses. Before we do, I hope you can hit the like button and subscribe button and support my young channel. So here's the front of the Iron Man Mark 1 diecast box. It's a nice copper color. You have Tony Stark up front in his Mark 1 armor. He is in front of a lot of explosions. I'm assuming those are photoshopped and Howard Chan didn't actually start a fire for this picture. The back of the box is also a deep copper color. It credits all the hardworking people like the artists and the sculptors who put this toy together. You can pause the video and read it if you'd like. So inside the case you have this nice styrofoam box. This is very typical of Iron Man toys. Up front you can see the Mark 1 logo deeply engraved into the box. So I'm very excited to open this box and check out the quality of the toy. So let's get this thing open. Very nice. First impression is this looks like a big upgrade over the 2.0 version, at least in terms of paint apps. You can tell the paint apps are much nicer on this one, and you can tell that there are some die-cast parts over here. This includes the exclusive unpainted die-cast helmet, a couple of hands over here, and the nice flame effects. Underneath this box, I'm sure, is the stand. Here's the booklet it comes with. Inside you have a diorama over here, and here is the base stand. I'm sure the diorama goes on top of this. So let's get everything out. So here are all of Mark 1's accessories. I must admit I'm a little disappointed by the amount of content and the quality of content here. First of all, I know he was just in the cave, so there's not much you can include, but they could have added more than 2 hands. That's a bit disappointing. And the quality of the stands isn't that great. So here is the base stand. As you can see, that's the logo from the film. Looks pretty good, but it feels a bit light and it feels a bit low cost compared to previous stands we've gotten from Hot Toys. Again, very nicely painted. It's a pretty nice stand, but just feels a bit low quality compared to previous Iron Man stands. The set also comes with a couple of extra wrist pegs. Other toy manufacturers, please take examples like 3-0 and Storm Collectibles. Please include extra wrist pegs. Learn from Hot Toys. We need them. Let's take a look at the hands. In typical Hot Toys fashion, the hands are very beautifully painted. Lots of detail. They look like nice thick gloves. This isn't die-cast, but from a distance it looks like metal. Very nicely done on the relaxed hands, Hot Toys. We should include it more, but these two are quite nice. Let's look at the flame effects. Very typical flame effect from Hot Toys. You've seen this on lots of other figures. Nice thick material, nicely painted, a little translucent, orange over here, yellow over here. The difference is that you've got this little bit over here. You can fit this directly on Mark 1. I really look forward to doing that. So let's take a look at this exclusive die-cast helmet. So the story behind this helmet is this was a timed exclusive on Sideshow's website, which of course was a marketing tactic because you can purchase this. Again, it's on Sideshow's website. It's no longer a timed exclusive. People are rushing to buy this, which is fine. They have to make money somehow. They have to generate revenue. Overall, the helmet is definitely worth having. It's really nicely molded over here. You can see all these dents. And if you want, you can paint it yourself. It opens like this. Feels heavy. I like it. So here is Diecast Mark 1 in Paint Me Like One of Your Friends, Tony's pose. I heard it got quite lonely in that cave of Afghanistan, so Tony Stark was in this pose quite often. Inside you have the soft goods, typical Hot Toys fashion, very high quality. The jacket, pinstripe pants, shoes, all feel very high quality. They fit him quite well. There are no threads or anything like that popping out. And above you have some die-cast on the helmet. This helmet is entirely die-cast. Die-cast on the chest. Die-cast on the shoulders. The plastic parts, they go well with the die-cast because they're really nicely painted. Good weathering. My only two complaints with the paint apps are I wish that the rust effects were a bit better. It doesn't feel so convincing over here, the rust. And I wish that there was more done on the paint apps on the face to show that how hot it was, and he's perspiring. You have a couple of strands of hair hanging down over here, but I feel like his face needs to look a bit more sweaty than it does right now. So before we look at the articulation, here is Mark 1 in a museum pose. Again, the back of the figure is highly detailed, lots of wires going around. You might have noticed that this figure doesn't come with a battery. That's because this is a USB powered toy. So you plug the USB wire under the backpack over here. That's where you attach the USB cord to light up the front of the figure and get the fan going. And then the Mark reactor lights up in front. Also, this thing starts spinning and it makes a nice little sound. So the articulation on the figures feels a bit limited due to all of the armor on top of the body. There's die-cast armor, there's plastic armor. However, you can work within the limitations of this toy to get some very nice poses. So let's start with the head. The helmet comes down very nicely. The figure looks quite far back. The head looks down too. The shoulders go up until here. There's a butterfly joint which allows the shoulder to move forward, a little back, again limited by the armor. Elbow allows the bicep to move this high. He can raise his arm that much. The hand can move 360 quite nicely. The waist is a bit limited again due to the armor. Moves back, moves a little bit forward. There's a bit of a swivel. The knee moves quite far back. He kicks forward a little bit, not too much. Nice ankle pivot to get some good poses. So let's look at the special parts of this armor. Again, the helmet opens up quite nicely. Got a missile here. It's pretty cool, right? This goes up pretty high. I believe this flap rotates a little bit. On the back, This goes up. I assume that's because, like everyone else, Iron Man does need to go to the washroom. So that flap does go up a little bit. You have this piece that goes up like that. That moves too. Got a lot of moving parts here. So here's the size comparison. On the right we have Mark 85. On the left we have Captain America, and in the center of course we have Mark 1. And this is the most controversial aspect of the figure. Lots of collectors felt that Hot Toys was just cashing in by releasing the same figure with a few die-cast parts, and they didn't change the height of the toy. And I have to kind of agree with them in the sense that, you know, Tony Stark cinematically is supposed to be the same height as Chris Evans. Lots of the promo shots and through movie magic, they're always the same height. Of course, Robert Downey Jr. is much shorter than Chris Evans. However, that's not how cinema works, or Tom Cruise wouldn't have a single job in film. Hot Toys have unfortunately modeled this toy after Robert Downey Jr. rather than Tony Stark, the character on film. That being said, the scale doesn't look too bad when he is on the stand. Hot Toys is definitely going to release another version of this toy, maybe 3 or 4 years from now, that actually scales better, that's actually bigger. But until then, you know, the height isn't too bad. So my final score for this figure is 4 out of 5 stars. The cons of this figure are not enough accessories. They could have given us a few more hands at least. The other problem with this figure is the height, of course. It should have been a bit taller. And the base, although nice looking, feels kind of cheap. The highs of this figure are most certainly the aesthetics. Beautiful paintwork, amazing weathering, all of those dents on that toy. It really does look like it was made from scraps in Afghanistan. Really good work from Hot Toys. I really like how they've shifted from the battery system to the USB system for the lighting, and this toy has a lot of shelf presence. Also, I really like the articulation. For a figure with so much heavy armor, there is some decent articulation here. There's lots of nice play value too. You can open up and look at the missile, and there are lots of moving parts. So yeah, good value for the figure. If you can find it for a decent price, I would say go for it. That's my review, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button, and stay tuned for some interesting poses.